Welcome back, everyone, to another lesson here in the Workbook for Students of A Course in Miracles. And again, congratulations on exceeding 300 of these. Maybe you've done the workbook before, straight through in the past. Maybe you haven't. But every time someone does this, it's quite, well, it's quite an achievement. And it doesn't mean that we spiritually pat ourselves on the back and say, hey, look at me. I've done the workbook for students. I'm enlightened. Because as we discover at the end, it's the beginning. And the second time that you go over this material, or the third, or the fourth, or the 27th, you understand everything at a deeper level because you have changed. The material has not changed at all. The wording has not changed. Yet to reach this point is still highly significant. And I'm very happy that you've done that. Really, what this represents is a commitment to awakening. It's a commitment to love. It's a commitment that you're making to yourself. And at the same time, you're making that commitment to yourself. You're also in service to every single living thing. Why? There's no separation of any kind. So when one person commits to a spiritual practice, whatever form that takes, it's tremendous. So thank you so much for that. So today we're going to take a look at lesson 302. And what we'll do here in the process is just shine some light on our own power, on the power of our mind. Not the power of the physical body, not the power of the dollar or the pound sterling or the euro or any other power, so to speak, in the world, but the power of who we are, right? The power of our own minds to see something completely differently, completely differently. I often talk about, I mean, it seems like it's almost every lesson, but I often talk about the choice that each of us has in the present moment, the choice between God or the ego, love or fear, light or dark, life or death, peace or complete chaos. The choice is ours. And the idea for today helps us shine some light on that. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. All right, that's the idea. That's lesson 302. Where darkness was, I look upon the light. Choice. It's a choice. Now, the world indeed seems dark, doesn't it? People are at war with each other as we speak. There are people that are not at war with each other in the sense of guns and tanks and weapons, but they're in competition with each other economically, politically. There's no difference. There's no difference. So there's a lot of apparent darkness. Where our power comes in is in this moment-to-moment power of choice. We can choose to practice and take to heart an idea like this. We can choose that we are done with this suffering, that we don't want to feel this way, that we don't want to feel completely overwhelmed, powerless, beleaguered, at a loss, right? Because all of the whirlwinds of life are blowing around us. And what can we do? Well, I mean, practically right now, if there's a war going on the other side of the world, there's not a lot you can do to stop someone from issuing the orders to shoot to kill in the present moment, is there? However, what you're in charge of is how you react right? How you handle and comport yourself. The answer, as we see repeatedly in A Course in Miracles, is in the practice of forgiveness, in the attitude of forgiveness. And it's also in moment-to-moment prayers, which I hope that you have found a way that works for you to say, right, to your guide, your teacher, your guide or guides, whoever that may be. It's kind of presented in A Course in Miracles as the Holy Spirit or Jesus as your guide, but you can have whichever guide or guides you resonate with. This material applies no matter what, because we can ask our teachers for help. Yes, we can ask for guidance in the present moment so that we may choose love, so that we may overlook the drama that's going on, to set it aside, so that we may give our entire being over to awakening, to healing the Son of God, to love, right? To the service of the all, the collective. It doesn't matter the words you use here. See, the attitude's the same. We have made all this darkness up. This is something the ego resists. It tells us that this is our reality, and we can choose to believe that or not. That is where the workbook is genius, is that it introduces one idea after another. And you will have noticed at this point that many of them sound substantially the same. Well, we need to hear things dozens and dozens of times as adult learners, hundreds maybe, and maybe the 274th time that we hear an idea is precisely the way we're meant to hear it in order for it to hit home, so to speak, and for us to take action upon that. Yeah. That's the purpose of all of the repetition in spirituality. That's why it happens. That's the only reason, right? It's because we need this material. We need repeated exposure to it in various forms so that one day we start to get it. So, I mean, by lesson 302, you'll have seen lots of that repetition. I mean, I'm no different than any other spiritual teacher in the world, and that we constantly do say the same things over and 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 over again. I've just explained why we do that, right? Yeah, it's important. It's important. So what's important here and germane on the commentary for lesson 302 is that this darkness is of our own imagining. We've made it up. It's not who we are. Think of the worldly institutions and concepts that we consider some of the irrefutable pillars of life in the world, like currency, like money, like the modern nation state, or the medieval nation state, or the feudal nation state, right? You know, political divisions and subdivisions, boundaries, countries. Weird. Somebody made that up, literally. Somebody made up systems of measurement. What's a meter? I don't know. It's a length that someone decided was going to be the unit of measurement, and they called it a meter. It's an artificial name. Same with an inch, right? A mile, a pound, a kilogram, right? We made all of this up. We made up the entire world. That's how powerful mind is. It has made a world. With the power to make, you know where we're going with this, is the power to see it differently. all of this can be used as the raw material, the grist for the mill, so to speak, for your own awakening. And I invite you to see it as such, because having made all of this up, we can say, no, I choose to see this differently. This is the real world that the Course continues to refer to in this section, this particular review section of the workbook. It's the second coming, right? Our waking up, in essence. It's where we're all headed. It's where we're all headed, because having made this up, we can recognize that we made this up and make a present moment choice to see differently the vision of Christ, which is given you to see and to choose. So it's up to you to choose to see it. Where darkness was, you can choose to look upon the light. At some point in this cyclic existence, yeah, samsara, if you're a Buddhist, yeah, this round, apparently infinite round of birth and rebirth and suffering, right? Even if you don't adhere personally, or you're not sure about the idea of rebirth, think of all of the rounds and cycles of suffering in your present lifetime. There's a lot of examples of that too, right? Where one form of malcontent is replaced with another in a spinning wheel, and it seems at times like there's no way out, but in fact there is. We've made it up. We can choose to see differently. Where darkness was, we can choose to see the light. And at some point we formulate a wish where that's all we want. A Course in Miracles puts that in another way. They talk about here the peace of God and wanting above all else, in fact, wanting only the peace of God. At some point, we all formulate that wish in our journey, don't we? We realize, yeah, I want a path to peace. And I'm serious about it. Enter this course, enter this workbook. The fact that you've come this far indicates to me, and I hope that you've indicated to yourself, that you're serious about this. Not serious as in, oh no, too serious. No, you gotta have a sense of humor about it too. Like some of the ways that we mess ourselves up in the world are actually kind of ridiculously funny, aren't they? I mean, some of them are funny, not funny, but we've got to have some sense of humor on the path, because laughter is beautiful medicine. It's a happy vibe. Like we can all say that, right? So I invite you to choose light. Spirituality is that simple. It's that present moment choice that we all get to make. Get to, not have to, get to, because we have the freedom to do it. That we can certainly choose not to exercise. That's still the power of choice, isn't it? We can choose to run and hide and play a victim and say, yo, no, this world sucks and poor me. And oh, we've all done it in one way or another. It doesn't matter if you see yourself or other people see you as a victim personality. We've all done this in one way or another, repeatedly, right? Multiple times. We have the present moment to choose differently. So choose to see with the vision of Christ. We can choose light. And when we do, we discover, I mean, the course materials tell us this, but this is really about your experiencing it, that the light is who you are. You are love. Isn't that fun? I mean, really, isn't that fun and uplifting and a declaration of real power? You are love. And I don't mean power in the sense of force and manipulation to control others. I mean real power. Love itself. So you are. You could choose right now to see that. And I hope that that is exactly what you do. All right, guys, thank you as always for joining me. And we will see you back again as we continue on through the workbook. All right, have a very beautiful day.